right, here we go. Welcome back to the Game Smash Podcast. As always, I'm your host, William Liberty, and with me is...
Boaz Mohammed Yusuf.
And today, we're just gonna, because of scheduling and weirdness and timing, we're just gonna talk about two big things. We're gonna talk about the Game Awards, we're gonna talk about PSX, back to back. So I hope you're ready for a very packed podcast. So let's get into it. So we're gonna go through the Game Awards. So we got a bunch of, we got who won this year. So first off, let's talk about the big one. Game of the Year was Overwatch. And I had a strong feeling it was going to be Overwatch. And I could understand some people were kind of a little bit salty because I think Hearthstone won. Did Hearthstone win last year, or was it?
No, Hearthstone won like 2 years ago.
2 years ago, yeah. So I know some people who were salty about that. But honestly, I thought about it and I was like, you know what? Out of all the games I played this year, I'm thinking to myself, yeah, Overwatch was the one that I played the most. The only other one I played equal amount of time was XCOM 2. And that's it. Those are the only two games that I even just continually go back, play and play and play. So yeah, I was totally fine with that. For sure. But yeah,
actually, Hearthstone never won.
Sorry?
Hearthstone never won Game of the Year.
Oh, it didn't? I thought it did. Oh, okay.
No.
I must have imagined that. But yeah, so what did you think of Overwatch getting Game of the Year?
I mean, well, obviously I agree because, well, I mean, I think I'm 150 hours in now, so it really, and then, you look at the games that it was up against, I mean, they're all good games. I haven't played Inside, but, I mean, they're all good games in their own right. You know how I feel about Uncharted, but at the end of the day, it's a high-rated game, and everyone has played it, loved it, so, obviously I'm in the minority. But yeah, they're all good games, but Overwatch is good, and it's also really popular, so I can't say I'm surprised it won. People were so upset about it. It made me so happy. Yeah, and people were like that. Oh yeah, multiplayer only game should never win Game of the Year, and I'm like, you're full of shit, and just coming up with arbitrary stuff on the fly. Anyway, I'm not gonna get too in depth with this. Yeah, Overwatch Game of the Year. Obviously, I agree, but a lot of people don't. So
well, I mean, I understand where some people were coming by, but honestly, I was thinking to myself, I understand, but I just there was so much for me to come back with Overwatch.
Mm-hmm.
And it was, I think it was more the IA, I enjoyed the IP. I love the IP. I love the character list. I love playing as a team in that game. As much as I love Titanfall, I still feel more like a team when I'm playing Overwatch. And that's a very big thing. And it's something that is relatively accessible for people to play. So I really did enjoy it, and I thought it was a lot of fun. And I understand some people going but it didn't have enough content. And I was like, well, the content was good enough for you to come back,
Yep.
And with arcade mode, they showed that, yeah, we're willing to add new things and do updates and revamp characters completely. So I got to give them credit. I think they did deserve it. All things considered.
Yeah.
And then that moves into our next award, Best Game Direction, also by Blizzard for Overwatch. And I mean, that makes sense. I mean, overall direction of how that game goes, how that game looks. I love the style of the game. I love how the art styles, but in particular, it feels really good to look at and play, and it's just. It's once again, Blizzard is very good at game direction. They are pretty solid. So
yeah,
it makes sense. It makes sense. And I mean, I said, it's just I understand why Overwatch won a bunch of these awards because it's a solid game. The next one was Best Narrative. So Uncharted 4: Thieves' End got Best Narrative, and I would have liked to have seen Inside get best narrative, I don't know, because I liked the non-storytelling of that game because it was so interesting and different. But from what, like, even though, like, I'm not like the biggest preacher of Uncharted games. I haven't actually even played Uncharted 4.
Oh, really?
Yeah, weirdly enough, I've never played it. Although I may talk about why I may end up playing it later in this podcast for other reasons. But I can kind of understand because Naughty Dog, even with Uncharted, they are pretty solid. They are pretty solid of creating a narrative. Now you can argue that Uncharted's gameplay is not that interesting overall, right? Like I think the cover-based shooter thing has been done. It's been done to death. Like we've done this a million times. But like I have to give them credit. They are good when it comes to narrative. They are very strong. It's one of their stronger suits. And so I was like, yeah, that makes sense. I wasn't really angered by that. I thought that was a pretty solid choice. Best art direction, Inside. That I was glad to see. I wanted Inside to get awards, and I was glad because I didn't want Inside to get snubbed. Yeah. I really didn't want it because it took a damn long time to make, and I know like you haven't played Inside, obviously.
No.
I was the only one who played Inside, and there's something about how that game looks and plays, and specifically the art direction, how none of the characters have faces, but the way the characters move, they add a lot of personality to it. They give a lot to the world, and particularly the very. I was having a discussion with someone about the art style. When you compare this game to Limbo, they're very similar playstyle wise. But Limbo's art style is pretty awesome because it's all black and white and stark and contrast. But like it's very like I don't want to say like it's like it's like very indie game. But there was something about the art style with Inside. I was like, I saw it as the art style with Limbo that I was like, I did enjoy it, but I felt that it lost its magic after a while. Whereas I really like the magic didn't. I felt like the magic in Inside's art direction was not lost at like the halfway point or something like that, which is something that I felt Limbo had, where it's like, all right, everything is black and white. There's only so much you can do with these colors,
I feel you.
Yeah. So I'm glad that they got that. We got Best Music and Sound Design, which is id Software for Doom and Bethesda.
Yeah, I think it's bullshit that Dark Souls 3 wasn't even nominated. No, you know what? I understand Doom winning Best Sound Design. The sound design in that game is really, really good, but like Dark Souls barely. Honestly, when I was looking at the list of nominees, I had to double check what year Dark Souls 3 came out in because I was like, there's no way it came out this year and it's not getting any nominations whatsoever. I mean, it lost out Best RPG to Blood and Wine, which is complete bullshit in my opinion. And I love Blood and Wine. Everybody knows. But are you kidding me?
Yeah. Yeah, I agree with that. Like I can understand where it's like the sound. I feel like the sound design for Doom in particular is way better than Dark Souls in general. And I feel Dark Souls has, because this is one of those like split categories where it's music and sound design. It gets a little blurry where it's like by far Dark Souls 3 has way better music in my opinion than Doom. But Doom's music is still really solid, but its sound design is better. So it's kind of like it's got more in both. Whereas I feel like Dark Souls has way more in its its original soundtrack, way more points for its original soundtrack than its actual sound design, in my opinion.
Keep in mind, Dark Souls didn't even get nominated.
Yeah.
So like. Sure, your argument makes sense and everything. Your argument would have made sense if they had both gotten nominated and Doom had just won, right?
Yeah.
But Dark Souls didn't even get nominated. Like, that's just bullshit. I'm sorry. Every year they get it wrong with the soundtrack. I remember there was a year where Grand Theft Auto won over Hotline Miami.
Yeah.
Grand Theft Auto without a single original song. Anyway, next point.
Well, we got best independent. Oh wait, sorry. Before that, best performance. Nolan North as Nathan Drake, Uncharted 4. That I totally get. I totally get it. And from people who have played that game, and from what little I've actually seen of that game, I can't fault it for Nolan North's performance, because he does, like, he is Nathan Drake, and he brings a lot as Nathan Drake. So I like. And, when you think about it, like, Naughty Dog is known for bringing out really solid performances in their games, And, I'm trying to think of other companies that I like specifically for their performances or their, like, voiceover or whatnot. And, like, I really like, I liked Persona. I liked Mass Effect. I liked, I obviously liked Uncharted and Last of Us, so I like the performances in those games a lot, and even some of the Telltale games. Even though I find that some of the Telltale games, the performances are less interesting than the other ones. But I mean, it makes sense. I feel like it was. I think overall it was still a pretty good choice. We also got best independent game real quick. Inside.
Yeah,
perfect. I was perfectly fine with that. It's such a great quality indie game. Like, it's insane. But that's what happens when you spend so long to make such a short game. You just get really, really good quality. So this was another funny one in my opinion. Best mobile handheld game, Pokemon Go. So that, I was like, when I saw the list, I was like, oh yeah, Monster Hunter, handheld game, that's awesome. And then I went, oh, Pokemon Go out, there's no way in hell Monster Hunter is going to beat Pokemon Go. Like, as much as I wanted it to, it was like, I just gave up immediately when I saw that.
Yeah.
I mean, I was fine. I was fine with Pokemon Go. Like, it's like Pokemon Go is kind of one of those weird novelty games, but it was fun. I felt like it was fun while it lasted, and it's still going, but it's not as a powerhouse as it was when it came out.
Yeah.
Like, I was talking, I do love reminiscing about seeing that one guy in the truck drive to the park every single day. Pull out his phone, walk back in, and leave. It was one of my favorite things in the world. Let's see about other ones. Here's... well, we already talked about Best RPG. It was Witcher 3. Wild Hunt and Blood and Wine.
Blood and Wine, to be specific.
Specifically. Yeah, that's... Well, like, you played both of the DLCs, right?
Yeah.
Do you, like, which one did you prefer? Blood and Wine, or what was the other one?
Heart of Stone.
Heart of Stone.
Blood and Wine. I mean, Blood and Wine is an expansion pack, whereas Heart of Stone, it's just like, it's not DLC, so it's not even comparable, right? Like, Blood and Wine is a big game, For me, it's just okay. You know what? Sure. I like Blood and Wine is a really, really, really good piece of DLC, but it's still just DLC. It's still an expansion pack. If you're comparing Blood and Wine to Dark Souls 3, I'll take Dark Souls 3 every single day. It's so stupid. Like, Dark Souls 3 got completely shafted at these awards.
I feel like that's a shame, because it's like, it's like, especially since, like, The Witcher 3 already got a bunch of awards last year. Like, Witcher 3...
The Witcher 3 cleaned house last year.
And it deserved it. I haven't played it yet, but, you've obviously told me that I need to play it, and I am going to. But I am going to play it. Shut up. Don't put this false lore in our podcast. I will play Witcher 3. I'm a busy guy. I've got tons of games to play. It's rough. But yeah, I get, like, the fact that even though this DLC is really good, I don't think it needed to win Best RPG. I don't think it deserved that. Even though it's really good. And don't get me wrong, like even Fawaz can attest that Blood 1 is a good it's a good expansion to a really good game, but it doesn't really deserve Best RPG. Like I think that's what we're stressing, really. And here's one that will make Fawaz really happy. So, Best Fighting Game. Street Fighter 5.
Yeah, it should have been KOF 14. Just plain and simple. It should have been KOF 14. It should have been anything but Street Fighter 5.
Really?
What?
I'm surprised. So legit. Like you think King of Fighters should have won over Street Fighter 5?
Yeah. Why are you surprised?
No, I'm just well considering how we shitted. We didn't really talk about it that much, but when that first reveal trailer came out, we shat on it hard.
I mean, it still looks like shit.
Yeah.
I mean, I said this a couple podcasts, a long time ago. The game still looks like shit, but it's a very, very well made fighting game. You know, it's a very well made fighting game that just happens to look like shit. Street Fighter 5 is a shitty fighting game that also still kind of looks like shit.
No, it looks better than King of Fighters. I'm sorry, it looks better.
Well, yeah, I didn't say it looks worse than King of Fighters. I said it looks like shit.
I get what you're getting at, but it's like King of Fighters made me go woof, whereas Street Fighter 5 made me go okay. Like I wasn't blown away by its graphics, but like I think, but then again, we're obviously both still salty over how that game launched, which was the bigger elephant in the room, and it sucks.
Well, obviously you're not.
Well, look, I'm more indifferent than anything. I'm more salty that. All right, I'm gonna just lay it all out here. The thing that pissed me the most about Street Fighter V wasn't even the game. You know what it was, Fawaz?
What?
Here it is. The thing that pissed me off about Street Fighter V was because you were like, I'm going to get this game. And we talked about it on the podcast all the time before the launch, right? We talked about it. And I'm like, this is going to be the game that it's going to be a fighting game, and me and Fawaz are going to play it. I'm going to learn how to play fighting games. I'm going to break through that barrier. It's going to be with Street Fighter V. And you hated it so much that you refused to, even I just said, hey, I downloaded Jury. Do you want to maybe play a game just for shits, you know? And you're like, no, fuck that. I deleted that game months ago. And I went, oh. And you're like, well, I'm going to go play Overwatch. Talk to you later. And I just sat there in training mode, just playing Jury. And I'm just like, ugh. So that's honestly the thing that pisses me off more with Street Fighter V, is that was supposed to be the game that I was going to break through the barrier, you know? But it just sort of went to nothing, which sucks.
I'd apologize, but I'm not actually sorry.
Yeah, I know. Don't try and front. We all know you're not sorry about it.
I mean, that's what I said. I said I'm not actually sorry.
Okay, there we go. That's
screw Capcom. I'm gonna get into this a little later, but yeah, screw Capcom and screw Street Fighter 5. Yeah, that's pretty much it.
Well, we got a couple more before we wrap things up. I guess the big one, best multiplayer game. We already talked about this. Overwatch makes sense for sure.
Yeah.
And another one, I think the last one we'll talk about was most anticipated game, The Legend of Zelda: Breath of the Wild.
No surprises here.
No surprise. That game is anticipated for several reasons. And before we wrap up with the Game Awards, we actually got a couple of trailers, so we can talk about that. So there was a Zelda Breath of the Wild teaser that they showed. And yeah, that was pretty cool. Like, they showed off that really sick flying base in the sky, which I loved. Like, I loved seeing that. And they showed off more of the combat, but more importantly, I think the coolest thing they showed was Zelda maybe? Question mark. And it's really interesting because there's two camps at the moment. There's one camp that's saying that she is going to be playable. You know, this character, whether or not she's Zelda or not, because they both have the blue design, they both have the blue tunic, and they both have a very similar design in a lot of ways. So a lot of people are saying that she might be the playable character that the rumors were because there was rumors months ago about there being like 2 playable characters.
I never heard those.
So it could be that this might be a game where you have 2 playable characters that you can switch on the fly or something like that, which would be really, really interesting. Or it could be Zelda. But that being said, even if it is Zelda, I'm all on board for this badass looking Zelda. You know how like Link's all like, you know, like bowing beneath her because he's like, you know, this is royalty, and she just does that like sick like clenches her fist looking towards the sky, and I love that shit. That's the best. But yeah, no, it was really cool. What did you think of the teaser?
Well, it's a very good looking trailer. You know me. I love me some cell shading. I don't know if I mentioned it on the podcast.
Oh, no,
before.
not once.
But yeah, you know, just keep the cell shading coming. Overall, man, you know, unfortunately, they didn't really show anything new gameplay-wise, but yeah, this is a very, very, very good-looking game. And yeah, that's an interesting tease with the Zelda at the end there. It's gonna be because I mean, hey, they're going against the grain like with just about everything in this game. So hey, why not go against the grain with the playable character and make Zelda play? You know, I never understood why it was called The Legend of Zelda when you never played her. For the longest time, I, as with most people, I'm assuming, thought that Link was Zelda, but yeah, I've just never understood why
It's a weird thing. I totally agree with you. And it's when somebody brought it up to me, I was like, yeah, that like you're playing as Link, you know, and some of the games it's barely about Zelda. Like when you think about Twilight Princess, right?
Yeah.
The game is not about Zelda at all. It's about the Twilight Princess. And it's like it's hilarious. It's hilarious that the like, you know, like that game is called Legend of Zelda, considering how she has a role in the story, but she really isn't that big of a like. She's not as big of a plot point in that game than some of the other characters are. So it's really interesting that a lot of the games even think of what was it? Wind Waker. Like Wind Waker doesn't even have like Zelda show up for like 3/4 of the game. You know, it's hilarious. But yeah, no, I totally agree with you. It's one of those weird things for sure. But overall, it looked pretty good. The other trailer, which I'm sure Wazir and I are gonna probably have different opinions on, Death Stranding got a quotes gameplay trailer.
There's no quotes. There was no gameplay.
There was no gameplay, and I will.
This is my quotes unquote. Oh god, I lost it.
Don't worry.
Yeah, there's no quotes. You can't stick a gameplay trailer onto a trailer that didn't have any gameplay. You know.
I know, and it's like, you know what? If they just didn't call it a gameplay trailer, it wouldn't have been. There wouldn't have been that little bit of.
Called it a gameplay trailer.
Well, some people called it a gameplay trailer.
Yeah, well, some people.
But some people are stupid. But it's not really a gameplay trailer. It's just a trailer. But you know, it's one of those stupid things where it's like, I don't understand why. I personally don't really like it. I don't like it when celebrities show up in games, usually, you know? I don't really like, you know, like, oh, they make a big deal about having, you know, Brad Pitt in this video game, or, you know, Jack Black in this video game, you know? Like, I don't really like it when they make that big of a deal about it, you know? Because it's just an actor.
Yeah.
And that actor might not even be good in the role, you know? But for some reason, I really, really liked seeing Del Toro just show up. I really like that because it's like the picture's complete now. We've got Kojima, we've got Reedus, and we've got Del Toro, and they're all back together in this really fucking weird game. Like, I can't even begin to describe how freaking weird this game is. Like, it's hilarious. Like the trailer, it's Del Toro holding a weird robot pod thing that has a baby in it, and he's hiding underneath like a bridge in which there's a tank that's covered in, like, I want to say that it's organs. Some people are calling it worms, but it looks more like organs to me. And there's a bunch of military guys walking around with skull masks, and then you walk in, like the camera pans down the tunnel, and it shows another actor who got added to the list. And like I said, it's weird how sometimes I really hate it when you see a celebrity be like, this celebrity's gonna make the game amazing, right?
Mm-hmm.
But it's one of those things where it's like, I really like I'm gonna print
Mads Mikkelsen.
I really like him though, and I think he's a good get, you know, because I wouldn't consider him like a Hollywood actor, because he's not really that. Especially, like, because he does a lot of indie work, you know?
I mean, he's in Star Wars Rogue One.
I know. And the only reason why he's starting to break through that barrier is because people saw him in Hannibal and went, holy shit.
Well, that's not true. He was in Casino Royale.
Well, I think he, like, I didn't even know his name before Hannibal. Like, that's all I can say. Personally. But I don't know. Maybe, like, my knowledge on how famous people are at certain time periods is not good. So don't quote me on this. Fawaz is probably right. I'm just gonna say that.
No. He was in Casino Royale. There's no probably here.
No,
like...
I'm not saying that I know he was in Casino Royale, but I don't think he broke the barrier where he, like, people know his name.
I feel you.
Like Casino Royale, I was like, oh yeah, remember that really creepy looking guy from Casino Royale? He was awesome, you know? But he shows up in the trailer, and he looks really cool. It's one of those things where it's like, the one thing I really do love about this game is how freaking weird it is. It looks so weird. And, I mean, once we actually get a real gameplay trailer, like an actual gameplay trailer, then we'll know. We'll know for sure if this is just going to be a dud or not. But I really hope it isn't, because I really want Kojima to succeed. And I want Kojima to just, stick his two middle fingers towards Konami and say, fuck you guys, I'm going to go make my weird shit and it's going to be successful, you know? That's what I really want. That's the dream. That's the dream scenario. But yeah, what did you think of Death Stranding overall?
Yeah, I mean, you know what I thought. Like, for me, here's the thing, right? First of all, it's a CGI trailer for a new IP. I hate those, right? Like, even Overwatch, the almighty Overwatch that I love so much. When Blizzard was showing the CGI trailer, I was like, okay, this is cool, but please show us gameplay. Unfortunately, they showed us gameplay immediately after. But yeah, like CGI trailers for new IPs, I just can't co-sign them, because like, and then on top of that, it's not even, at least with, let's just stick with the Overwatch example. At least with Overwatch, you look at the CGI trailer and you can get some kind of idea of the kind of game that it is. This is some...
I get it. I get where you're coming from, but there's stuff in the CG trailer where I'm like, okay, this is clearly showing that there's more. There's going to be more combat. There's going to be more combat. And when you see the interviews where he's talking about links between characters, like, you can see that they're giving hints of, like, there will be a character who controls several others. There are giving hints. I mean, with Overwatch, they're way more obvious. It's like Tracer's going to be able to blink. She's going to be able to reverse time. Winston's going to be able to rage. They're more obvious. And I totally agree with you with that. In Overwatch, they are way, way more obvious. So a lot of people can give them more of a pass,
Yeah.
But it's... I do agree with what you're saying, though.
Like, yeah, for me, I'm just, okay, you know what, they did the CGI trailer at E3. You know what, it's cool, right? You have to you want to get people's blood flowing. You don't have gameplay yet, so you release a CGI trailer, you get everyone's blood pumping. Then there is another CGI trailer a couple months later, and I just don't understand why. For me, because I'm like, okay, the people that are excited about this game before are still excited about it now. And people that weren't excited about it before are probably not excited about it now because, okay, sure, there'll be some people who are like, okay, Matt Mikkelsen is in this game. I'm going to check it out. The people who are like, Guillermo del Toro is in this game. I'm going to check it out. But you get what I mean? The trailer didn't really add anything, For me, I'm just like, just show us gameplay, Like, take your time. I'm not asking you to rush. If you're going to show us gameplay in 2019, show us gameplay in 2019. I'm already waiting for Cyberpunk 20. I'm already waiting, what, 3 years?
Look, Cyberpunk's coming out in 2027. Just accept that at this point.
Yeah, so, but take your time, right? Like, for example, that's actually it's a good thing I brought that up because, like, now, if, for example, at the VGAs, CD Projekt Red went on stage and were like, yo, we've got a nice new trailer for you, and it was another CGI trailer for Cyberpunk 2077, I'd be pissed, It's like, what? I don't, you know me. Me and CGI trailers, especially, if you're doing like StarCraft 2, you're announcing StarCraft 2, you're announcing Star Wars Battlefront, games, you're announcing Half-Life 3, then sure, go on stage and give me a CGI trailer. But if you're announcing a new IP, give me gameplay or don't give me anything, Because, like, if you hadn't announced Death Stranding at E3, we wouldn't be sitting here being like, oh my god, I wish Kojima had announced Death. You'd be like, we don't know what he's working on right now, and that's that, right? But then you give me a CGI, you announce a brand new game, but then you give us nothing. Because, like, literally, we've all just been sitting here speculating. We don't even know the genre of this game, Like, we have no idea. Everyone is assuming. That's the other thing, right? Is that then, people spend all... Because here's the thing, is that the game is probably, apparently, really early in development, right? So we're going to spend the next 2, maybe 3 years speculating on what the game is going to be like. And then when the game comes out and it doesn't live up to those preconceived expectations of what this game is going to play like, then people start getting angry. People start getting disappointed over nothing, So for me, I just don't see the point, But I mean, it was a very well
put together.
Honestly, even like because the other thing is I don't like what's that word I'm looking for? I don't like abstract stories. So even from a storytelling point of view, I did not like the trailer.
Oh, you couldn't dig the weird visuals like that. Which is cup of tea.
For me, like there's no context to any of this. Why is Guillermo del Toro holding a baby? Why is he holding what looks like a dead baby doll? Why is the doll obviously alive? Why does that tank have worms on it? Why is Matt Mikkelsen covered in paint? Why does he have all these soldiers that are attached to him? You get what I mean? Like, there's no context.
I totally get that. I don't know. I guess it just doesn't bother me that much because it's like I can enjoy the visuals and be like, oh, this is a weird, trippy ride. And I feel like there's more credence to the weird, abstract stuff if by the end of the game you go, oh, that's what that meant, When if you have that moment where it clicks and it makes sense, or you can get the symbolism behind it or something like that. I love it when it you think of a good example like Silent Hill 2. You're looking at why is there a bunch of sexy nurses all over the place? That doesn't make much sense. And then you finish the game and you go, oh, that's why. There's that moment where it clicks. So if this game doesn't have that moment where it clicks, then I agree with you. It's just kind of, it might be cool, but it wasn't really, there's no reward to it. But that's why I'm enjoying it for now, but if the game comes out and it's just abstract with not even a good, click moment, then it'll be that sucks. But no, I mean I thought it was, I enjoyed it, but I totally get what you're saying. Absolutely. Another awesome trailer that they showed that made me real happy. They showed Mass Effect Andromeda gameplay, and it looks pretty rad. It because they showed off. There's going to be exploration. You're going to have to go and gather resources. It showed the gunplay. It showed all the biotic teleporting and stuff like that. It showed the ship, and there was another trailer that I thought was really interesting where they're explaining that in this game there's going to be a Citadel 2.0 or something like that. Where like in Mass Effect, the first 3 games, the Citadel was like the main city. It was like the big city where all the people went to and lived and whatnot. You know, it was like the place, and it was meant to be like the main one of the main hubs in the game. You know, where and it seems like they're setting up the a second one in this new galaxy, which I think is cool because the Citadel was a really cool part of Mass Effect. I really liked that because it was like this cool little area where everyone would show up and hang out and whatnot. And yeah, they're showing new exploration and whatnot, and they showed off a little bit of other characters and some interaction, which I thought was pretty cool. I'm glad to see some new races being added. Well, not new races, but some different characters that we haven't seen before. They showed off that you can have a female Turian as a crew member. Like in that trailer.
Did they?
Yeah, they did. There is a cutscene in which you see your commander and 2 other characters walking behind you, and one of them is a female Turian.
Oh, I didn't. I thought it was just a really skinny Turian.
No. That's a female Turian. It's really weird because here's a fun Mass Effect fact that's really weird about Mass Effect. You don't really see any female Turians until Mass Effect 3. It's weird. It's weird, and only until Mass Effect 3, and you don't even see it in the main. You don't see it until the DLC. And it was one of those things where they talked about they wanted to have female Turians in the older games, but they didn't have a design that worked for some reason.
It's funny because I see this design and I'm like, this doesn't seem like you're splitting the atom here.
I know.
Well, that was slimmer.
I agree with you completely. I was like it's a cool design, but did it really need to take you like 3.5 games to do this? It's like, okay. But yeah, no, it was really cool. The only thing that kind of worries me, and this is something that I actually didn't like, the grindy aspects of Dragon Age Inquisition, you know? I didn't really like the grindy aspects to it, and I felt that it brought the game to a halt, like a screeching halt at times. And it made me enjoy the game a whole lot less, you know? Yeah. So I really do hope that if they're going to have resource gathering, if they're going to have exploration or whatnot, that it's not just a grind-a-thon, you know? Because I don't want that for Mass Effect. Mass Effect is supposed to be an action RPG, you know? There's supposed to be a certain level of, you know, excitement. And in the little combat battle that they showed, you could see that. It's okay, there's cover, but, there's still biotic abilities, there's teleporting, there's turning invisible, there's all that stuff's returning, right? Mm. But I just don't want that grinding stuff that they had in Inquisition, because it made the game feel so, like, the pace of the game felt slow, in my opinion, because it's like, I just want to progress the story. You need to go to the city. Oh, they won't let me in until I finish 12 quests. Whereas in Mass Effect, you would have, they won't let me into this base until I finish one side mission. That's a big difference. So I really hope that they don't bring that back. But overall, still really excited. But what did you think of the trailer overall, gameplay?
It was cool. It was cool. The lip syncing, the face, the Shepard, whatever her name's face, looked kind of weird. But overall, it looked cool. I really liked the art design. Mm-hmm. The armors. It just looked good. Yeah, really nothing else to say.
Well, I just want to also say this, the planets look lush.
The planets look lush. They don't look like the shitty planets from Mass Effect 1.
No, not at all. It's it looks like they really put a lot of time and effort into making the planets, work, which is so important in your space epic. That the planets are interesting,
This is true.
But overall, yeah, cool stuff. The last thing, I'll mostly talk about this because I know you don't care that much about it. Walking Dead New Frontier. They showed off the trailer. It's really interesting because, it shows off a lot. I think the character's name is I'm trying to remember. I think it's Marco. Yeah, Marco. They show this new character, and they basically show like his, the basic zombie stuff where it's like the realization of like, oh no, Grandpa's dead. Wait, no, he's not dead. Why is he moving? That kind of scenario, right? So I thought that was pretty interesting, but it was weird because I was like, the entire time I was watching it, where's Clementine? Where's Clementine, right? And then finally when you get to see Clementine, I was like, holy shit, she has a freaking spaz shotgun. And she's like, I found it hilarious because in the scene where they're walking down the road together, the guy has like a bat. And that's his only weapon, and she has the shotgun. And I'm just like, yes, that is how it should be. But I was pretty happy with that. I gotta give them credit. I'm glad that it looks like the engine they're using is different. It looks better. I feel like it looks better overall. Then again,
like it looks better.
Sorry?
I say you feel like it looks better.
Okay, here's the thing. It looks better on paper. It's in the trailer. It looks better than some of their other games. The telling factor will be when this game comes out, will it run well? Because that is the curse with Telltale, is that their games look fine for the art style that they're going for, but for whatever reason, some of them just run terribly. And, for whatever reason, whenever, a game is loading in your decisions, whatever they may be, the game just stutters, insanely. And it's weird. It's weird that problem still exists to this day. It's not as bad on the PC, because I played one of their games on the PC, and it was actually quite good. But I just hope that doesn't return. I really, really don't. But overall, this trailer kind of got overshadowed by something else that just got revealed, but we'll talk about that in a minute. So overall, what did you think of the Game Awards, Fawaz, in general?
Well, I didn't watch them, but the reveals were better this year. You have your annual Telltale game. At this point, I've just grown accustomed to the fact that we're going to get a Telltale game as one of our quote-unquote big reveals at every VGA. We also got Guardians of the Galaxy, the Telltale. Seriously, these guys have the dream job, man. Just keep remaking... Just take the same concept and reuse it with different IPs, and it.
Yeah, I honestly I agree with you. It's one of those things where it's like, man, I know you guys. You set out your goal as a company, and they've said this in their videos. This was to come up with a episodic game company that told really interesting stories and had and it's I have to give them credit because they have interesting stories. I love The Walking Dead. I love Wolf Among Us, but it's I wish that they would just mix it up with the gameplay. That's what they need to do, and the fact that they're still not doing it, it sucks.
Yeah. But they've carved out a nice niche for themselves, and hey, more power to them. But we got Mass Effect gameplay, so that was cool. That's something substantial. There was something else. I mean, we got a Death Stranding trailer. But yeah, overall, like I said, the reveals have gotten worse, and but the show has gotten better. So I'll give them credit for that. But yeah. I with the PlayStation experience being the very next day, 2 days later, there's just no hope for them anymore, I don't think. Because Sony were one of the biggest people for the VGAs or the VGXs or the Game Awards, whatever they,
whatever you want.
A lot of Sony games either got revealed at the VGAs or they got their gameplay. Uncharted 2 got revealed at the VGAs. The Last of Us, God of War either got revealed. No, it got revealed at E3. It got its gameplay
God of War
revealed.
got revealed at E3. Yeah.
I so Sony used to show a lot of big stuff there, but now with the PlayStation experience, I don't see that happening.
Yeah, you know what it is? It's essentially they have three different big events that they're a part of E3, the Video Game Awards, and the PSX. So it's like, yeah, it's like there's no way, and because PSX exists, it kind of makes the reveals a lot less interesting. But before we move on to PSX, which we are going to talk about next, I do want to talk about this one weird thing I found with the. It was the pre-show stuff that I thought was weird. You know, there was a video that was revealing all the nominations and all the awards this year, right?
Yeah.
And it was Jeff Keighley just on a stage with the camera zooming in and zooming out or whatnot, and it going through all the nominations. And what I found was so weird was there was no music. It was just awkwardly silent in the background, you know? Because he was clearly being filmed on a silent stage when he was doing this promo. And I just thought it was so weird. Because I would expect that as, like, Video Game Awards have some, like, you know, some epic music in the background or, like, something, you know. But it was weird. It was just, like, there was no music at all, so it felt really empty in the background. So I thought that was weird. But overall, I still think it, like, they are getting better. I think the Game Awards as a show is definitely getting better. But we'll have to see. Hopefully they continue that trend.
Yeah, hopefully they pick a different month.
Yeah, you know, yeah. Well, you know what I was thinking about it too? It sucks because the cutoff point made Final Fantasy 15 and, like, Last Guardian can't be a part of this, which sucks.
Well, I mean, no matter where you pick, something is going to get cut off.
Something's going to get cut off, yeah.
Yeah, that's just the way these things go. No matter what month you go in, like, if they push it to January, then Gravity Rush gets cut. If they push it to February, then Neo gets cut. They push it to March, then, you know, you get around. They push it to April, Persona gets cut. So it's like something's going to get cut. It doesn't matter. But I definitely think they need to pick a different month. We'll see. You know, maybe their viewership is standing strong. So I mean, and I think that's really what matters. So if their viewership is on the up and up, then, you know, you keep doing you. But I feel like they'll definitely get better reveals if they're not 2 days before the PlayStation experience.
Yeah, no, for sure.
Yeah. But yeah, speaking of the PlayStation experience,
yeah, we got a bunch of stuff. So you want to take it away for us?
Yeah, so Sony heard the complaints after last year's terrible show, and they decided that, you know, we didn't give you any news last year, so this year we're going to give you all the news, literally.
They came swinging.
Yeah, they announced some DLC for Uncharted. The trailer for this was actually pretty cool because it makes you think it's Tomb Raider.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know, you have like a girl with a hijab walking around and all this stuff. The Lost Legacy, I believe.
Yeah, that's what it's called.
And then bam, it's Chloe. And then there's this chick called Nadine or something like that. I probably pronounced that incorrectly. But yeah, standalone. It's standalone DLC, so you don't even have to buy or play the
Uncharted 4.
Yeah, Uncharted 4. But yeah, it looks cool.
I wanted to say
there's a lot of short. Sorry, yeah.
So I wanted to say this about that trailer. That's part of the reason where, like, now I'm kind of like, even if it's standalone, I kind of want to play Uncharted 4 more because well, one, the Nadine is one of the villainous characters in Uncharted 4.
Oh.
And she is your buddy. She's buddy in this trailer with Chloe Frazer. So that makes me go, that's very interesting. I kind of want to see where that's going. What was the other thing? Oh, and honestly, Chloe Frazer is awesome. She's one of the better characters in the Uncharted series in general, because she's a little less, oh, we got to do the right thing, you know? She's a little like, no, we don't. So I really do like her, and she has some amazing lines in Uncharted 2. They're pretty fantastic. But yeah, I was actually really, because I was like, oh, Chloe, that's because that was the one thing that made me so annoyed in Uncharted 3. Was Uncharted 3, I was like, Sully's back. Yeah, more Sully. I love Sully, you know? But then Chloe Fraser was still in the game too, and I was like, yeah, Chloe's you're here. And then you're like, wait, Chloe's leaving? Why? And then the reasoning behind her leaving the story was so like, really? Like it was basically like she got scared and she left the game. I was just like, God damn it.
Yeah, that's pretty lazy.
Yeah. I mean, it made more sense than Sully's reason, which was, I'm getting too old for this shit, and then he proceeds to come back for 2 more games. It's so stupid the more I think about it. But overall, I'm still excited for this, for sure. But what were you going to say afterwards? Sorry.
No, I think I was just going to move to the next thing. So, after a lot of teasing and the leak and all that good stuff, Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite got announced. Now, it was rumored that it was Marvel vs. Capcom 4. The rumors turned out being fake, but they still announced a new Marvel vs. Capcom game. Now, I don't know how much I've gotten into it on this podcast, but I used to be a huge Marvel vs. Capcom 3 fan. Yeah. I loved that. I loved the shit out of that game. So when this was announced, obviously I was excited. Mm-hmm. But the more I've learned about this game, and the more I've thought about it, the less and less excited I have gotten. So first things first, it's 2v2, it's not 3v3. So right there, I'm already sad, Second, and this is a pretty big one, is that, and keep in mind this is just a rumor for now, but it seems like a pretty believable rumor, is that the X-Men characters and Fantastic Four characters aren't going to be in the game, because the game is going to focus primarily on Marvel Cinematic Universe characters, and Marvel don't own the rights to the X-Men and the Fantastic Four anymore. Yeah. So yeah, they're not going to be in the game.
Yeah, I heard that and I was like, I mean, we all knew that was coming, No,
Marvel haven't owned the rights to the X-Men in decades. Yet the X-Men were in Marvel vs. Capcom 3. They didn't own the rights to Spider-Man, but Spider-Man was in Marvel vs. Capcom 3. They didn't own the rights to the Fantastic Four, but Doom and Super Skrull
that's why I'm confused then. It's like, how did that end up happening for the earlier games?
It's probably Disney. Because and this is just process of elimination, right? You ask yourself what's changed between then and now. Disney. Yeah. So it's a lazy excuse. It's a lazy reason. It's a lazy way of coming up with a reason. What are they supposed? The only one that makes sense.
Well, I agree with you, but what are they supposed to do? What
do you mean?
Well, how are they supposed to get the rights? If it's let's say if it was a scenario in which Disney just didn't give them the rights.
No, it's not that Disney didn't give them the rights. It's that okay. Here's the thing. There was a bit of a because Marvel have been trying to get all their rights back. In the early 2000s they were going bankrupt, so they sold the rights to a bunch of their characters so that all these other studios could make movies of those characters, because they couldn't afford to make the movies themselves, right? They sold away Spider-Man, the X-Men, the Fantastic Four, Daredevil, and a couple of other IPs. Now they've got Daredevil and Spider-Man back, but they tried to get the X-Men back from Fox, but apparently the meeting didn't go very well. Now this is all hearsay, right? Yeah. Take this with a grain of salt. The meeting didn't go very well. So what a lot of people are speculating now is that Marvel are actively trying to sabotage the X-Men. They pushed, because people forget now, but the X-Men used to be Marvel's number one franchise. Well, maybe number two behind Spider-Man. But the X-Men were up there.
They were,
in the early
up
90s.
There for sure.
Holy shit, the X-Men were popular. Not so much anymore. Marvel are not promoting them anymore. They've cut back on their comics. There's no animated series. There's nothing. They're focusing exclusively on cinematic characters, the Avengers, and now the Inhumans. They're trying to push the Inhumans as a replacement for the X-Men. The Inhumans are going to be appearing on Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. They were supposed to be getting their own movie, but I don't think that's happening anymore. So yeah, they're really trying to push the Inhumans. As a result...
Okay, I want to say something very quick. You want to push Inhumans on us? Guess which sounds cooler? mutants or Inhumans. It's fucking mutants. Like,
I mean, for me, it's just like apparently the impression a lot of people have gotten is that this is just spite.
yeah,
Like Marvel
spite.
are doing this out of spite for Fox. However, with all that said, this is cutting off your nose to spite your face, literally. Because like I know people that have claimed anyway that they're not gonna buy this game. They're like that they're not going to buy this. Like how am I gonna buy a Marvel vs. Capcom game without Magneto, Storm, and Sentinel? Those are like the three most iconic characters. Like from a fighting game point of view, those are like the three most iconic characters of the franchise. And the flip side, from a comic book fan point of view, how am I gonna buy a Marvel game with no Wolverine? Like, it just makes absolutely no sense, and it's so stupid. And straight up, I mean, like I'm not going to be so knee jerk here, right? What really worries me, and other than the fact that it's Capcom, right? What really worries me is that in the press release for this game, they were talking about some shit about there's gonna be, because like the title is Marvel vs. Capcom Infinity, so the Infinity Stones are gonna play a big role in it, and apparently there's gonna be Infinity Stones in the game that you can use, right? And it's I guess what I'm getting at is that the game is sounding more and more like Street Fighter Cross Tekken, which I like. If this game ends up being a spiritual successor as SFXT, I'm definitely not buying it. Like 100%, I'm not buying it.
Even the little I know about Street Fighter Cross Tekken makes me go woof.
Yeah, my hope right now is that it ends up being like TVC. If it's like TVC, I'll give it a shot. I don't, like I'm not that attached to the Marvel character. Sure, it'll suck not having Sentinel, not having Storm, not having these characters, but I'll still buy it. Like I'm not gonna sit here and lie to myself. But if it plays like TVC, I'll still be kind of disappointed because I was really hoping. I mean, because it's funny. And just a quick digression. This is why I hate leaks, right? Because like it leaked earlier in the week, and like first of all, if it ended up not being true, I was gonna be disappointed, right? No matter how much I told myself it was just a rumor, I would have been disappointed. Yeah. Because prior to that leak, I did not think it was possible that we'd be getting a new Marvel vs. Capcom 4. I didn't think it was ever going to happen, right? Then, if it did get announced like it did, the surprise was ruined. This would have been such a pleasant surprise for me because like I did not expect a new Marvel vs. Capcom ever, and I'd have woken up this morning and seen a new Marvel vs. Capcom. Now, with that said, the fact that it's not a 2v2 game, I am disappointed because at the end of the day, I wanted a new Marvel vs. Capcom. When I think Marvel vs. Capcom, I think 3v3, right? So like I said, I'm not gonna write the game off completely yet. I'm gonna wait till I see some gameplay and stuff, see what the roster looks like. But yeah, first impressions are not positive at all. Especially this is the last time I was excited for a Capcom game. I got Street Fighter 5.
Yeah,
so
we've pretty much explained how that went down.
Yeah, so like honestly, it's such a pity because this should have been such a cool and exciting announcement, and Capcom found a way to ruin. Capcom and Marvel, actually, let me not put all the blame on one person, found a way to completely ruin it. So They also announced Ultimate Marvel's Capcom 3 is coming back to the PS4. I'm probably like I considered buying it. It's like $25 or something, but I'm not going to get it.
I was like, that's really nice. I'm not gonna buy it at launch.
Yeah, even with
we all know how Street Fighter 4 did.
That's true.
That's when I heard that announcement, I was like, okay, guys, this is your second chance to do this properly.
That's actually a good point. I didn't even think about that.
Please don't fuck it up.
There's no word on legacy controller support. And like no legacy controller support, 100% no buy.
Yeah.
But it's cool, and it's weird, right? This gives me some hope that MVC Infinite is going to be closer to a Marvel vs. Capcom game than Cross Tekken, because like when Sony announced Gravity Rush 2, they made Gravity Rush 1. They released an HD version of it for the PS4. Developers always do this, where when they're releasing a new version of a game, they re-release the old version to try to build
an audience,
build up hype for it.
Yeah, build up hype, but also introduce people who may have never actually played the game. And
if, for example, they release this, they're releasing this, and then if MVC Infinite now comes out and it plays like Cross Tekken, they're gonna have a lot of disappointed people. So it does give me hope that there's gonna be a better way to say this. MVCI. Oh my God, it's such a terrible name. But Infinite, I'm just gonna start calling it Infinite.
Yeah,
but yeah, it does give me hope that Infinite is going to be closer to its roots than Cross Tekken. Plus, Cross Tekken was not a success for Capcom. So actually, the more I think about it, the less likely I feel like this is going to be like Cross Tekken, because there's just no reason for them to do that. But with all of that said, I'm going to be cautiously optimistic. However, there is still positive hope. I woke up there's still hope that, because if this game ends up playing like TVC, I'll buy it straight up. I don't even care what the roster is. I will buy this game. So that's good, because when I woke up this morning, I didn't expect to have any hope at all. So there you go. Did you want to add something to that, or should we move on to the next point?
Well, I'll just say this, it depends on, it will always depend on the roster, and I feel like with this, it's like, it sucks that we're probably not going to see a lot of, we're probably not going to see we're not going to see Magneto, we're probably not going to see Wolverine, but maybe if they do bring some more interesting characters to the roster, as maybe not like replacements, but someone new, then I'll be like, okay, that's something special, and I feel like they could do that. It will sting a whole lot less if it's like, oh, cool, Star-Lord's in the game or something like that,
Oh no, like Star-Lord, I'm 100% sure Star-Lord is going to be in this game.
Yeah.
Especially if they're cutting the X-Men, then like they're gonna put a big focus on the cinematic universe characters. So Doctor Strange is gonna be there.
Oh,
Carol Danvers is in the announcement trailer. Iron Man, obviously, because Marvel are just sucking him off right now. And then the Inhumans, like, if the X-Men rumor ends up being true, the Inhumans are 100% going to be in this game. So, yeah. We'll see. We'll see.
But yeah, no, interesting, for sure.
Mm-hmm. Then there was the Crash Bandicoot Insane Trilogy trailer. We finally got some gameplay, and we finally got a better idea of what to expect with this game. So it's a full-on it's a remaster, not a remake.
It's a remaster.
They put an HD coat of paint over the old game. It's not like everything is still where it was. At least that's the impression we got from the announcement trailers. With that said, it looks amazing.
It does.
Crash really looks cool. He looks like they adapted him well. He aged well, I guess.
Yeah, he aged very well.
It's also going to be all 3 games, which I'm so happy about. This is what I wasn't sure of, because I never liked the first Crash Bandicoot. Even when I played it all those years ago, I did not like it. Now, to be fair, I played it last. So I played 2, I played 3, then I played 1, right?
Yeah, that's a really not good order to do that.
No, it's not. So, like, I'd gotten used to a lot of things that 2 and 3 innovated, and I played 1, and I was like, wow, all this stuff is missing. I hate this game. Mm-hmm. But yeah, it looks cool. We still don't have a release date, but right now it's tentatively 2017. And honestly, like for PlayStation, because you have your Nintendo generation, you guys, right, who started playing with the NES and all that stuff. But me, I'm a PlayStation. For me, so you have your nostalgia with like Metroid and all these games. For me, though, I started playing video games. Like my first console was a PlayStation, a PSX. So my nostalgia is Crash Bandicoots. It's Metal Gear Solid. It's Gran Turismo. It's all those games, right? Mm-hmm. So seeing Crash again, like, honestly, I'm probably just going to buy this game just because, Like, it's one of those situations where I might even buy it and never play it.
Yeah. Well, honestly, I also want to say that, like, when you look at how Crash Bandicoot looked before, like, it looked impressive at the time, don't get me wrong, but some of the textures were so, like, muddy and pixely that it was kind of hard to discern what certain things were supposed to look like. Or at least, I don't know, like, I was looking at some of that, and I was like, I'm really interested to see, like, okay, this is what it looks like, this is legit what it was supposed to look like, that more real, you know what I mean by that? And I'm excited for that, and it's one of those things where it's like, I'm glad that they're making this a trilogy, because it's like they're releasing all 3 games, and it looks amazing, it's very colorful, and it's one of those things that, it's nice to have. But yeah, overall, pretty excited for this. Another thing that I thought was pretty surprising was Gravity Rush 2 DLC. And this was the free DLC I think they confirmed.
Yeah.
And it showed off Raven, and even though I know very little about Gravity Rush 2, other than me playing it and having fun at Montreal Comic Con, the Raven looks so much cooler than Cat. Like, goddamn, Raven looks so much cooler, and I'm excited to actually play as her in this DLC. Although, this is one of our favorite things on the podcast where we talk about naming conventions. I love this DLC's name.
What was it? Remind me.
It's Gravity Rush 2's DLC. Another story. The Archive of Time. Line. Raven's Choice.
Like, who comes up with this shit?
It's the best. I love it. I love it so much. Never change. The more bizarre naming conventions, keep it going. We have to keep this joke going. But overall, it looked really cool. I think it looked really, really cool.
It looked cool. It's there's really not much else to say there.
No, that's it. It looks cool. Another thing that they also announced, which I thought was really interesting, Akuma.
Yeah, Akuma officially revealed. First things first, what is it with Capcom and the hair, man? Like,
they gotta flaunt the hair tech, man.
But they're not, because the hair all looks like shit. But Akuma,
Nakali's hair was good. I like
Nakali's hair was luscious. This is true. I can't argue with that. But Akuma. I mean, no surprises here. Everyone figured that the only surprise was that he wasn't in the original roster, and then he wasn't in the first pack of DLC characters. Like, I think Akuma has literally been in every single Street Fighter ever, so except for Street Fighter 1, but no one counts that. So this was not very surprising. He looks cool. His V skill is a parry, similar to Ryu's, but he has two follow-ups. He has like an upward kick and a palm strike. His V trigger is an install, which is kind of disappointing. Like, at this point, we have too many installs in the game, and I wish they would give more unique V triggers like Armika's. However, so it's called Duhatsu Shoten, probably butchered the pronunciation, but they state that in this mode, his Go Hadoukens are powered up, now traveling full screen. So apparently, his regular fireballs don't travel full screen anymore. That's very important, because that means that definitely gives off the impression that he's a full-on offensive character now, because if you don't have full screen fireballs, you can't really zone. And then in that mode, he can also do 2 air fireballs even while jumping backwards, also implying that he cannot do an air fireball jumping backwards. He's generally never been able to do that, so that's not a big surprise. And then his Shoryuken has a follow-up. Okay, congratulations. Then his critical arts is like the ground slam from Third Strike. I was really disappointed when that wasn't his Ultra 2 in Street Fighter 4, so I'm glad to see that it's back. And then his second critical art, I mean, we all saw this coming. Shun Gokusatsu, when he's in Dohatsu Shoten mode, you can only activate it when he's in that mode, and he does Shun Gokusatsu. It's his trademark attack, and no surprises here either. Akuma is coming out on the 20th of December, along with holiday content, B-Boy Ryu, B-Girl Chun-Li costumes, and they also announced a new character pass that comes out on the 20th of December, so we're getting 5 brand new fighters that are going to be released and revealed throughout 2017.
Yeah, I mean, like, honestly, like, I really do, I actually do kind of like Akuma's weird design. Like, I know, like, his hair, even though it looks kind of weird and a bit shitty, it still is way better than fucking Ken's hair. Ken's hair was the worst. Ken's hair looks the shittiest out of all of them.
The worst.
But I dig the beard. He
doesn't have a beard, does he?
Yeah, he does. He's got, like, a super crazy beard.
I think that's just his hair.
But his hair is underneath his head. What would you call that then? A mane?
I mean, okay, you know what? Whatever. He has a beard. He doesn't have a beard. That's besides the point. I am kind of disappointed because, like, I feel like they could have done a lot more with him from a gameplay point of view. You know, like his V skills at parry, his V triggers and install. Um, it's all very vanilla. You know, I was hoping they, do something a little more creative. Like I said, I love Armika's V trigger. She has one of my favorite V triggers in the game. I like Rashid's V trigger. I was hoping for something similar to those. Like creative, things that open the game up in a creative way. But I'll wait till I see some gameplay of him before I get fully disappointed. But I don't know. I don't think I'm coming back though. I don't think it's enough to make me
come
go
on.
back.
We've established you're not coming back at this point. But no, I still think it's cool. I'm glad he's in the game. Like, yeah, I'm glad he's in the game overall. But yeah, maybe I do agree with you. They probably could have done a lot more with his kit overall. But yeah. But something a little more creative. Look at that segue. We got Ni no Kuni, Revenant, Revenant Kingdom, which is basically Ni no Kuni 2.
Yeah. So Ni no Kuni was one of the only good things at the PlayStation Experience last year. So I'm glad to see it came back again. Yes, me too. Shout out to Level 5. Dark Cloud 2 still looks good to this very day. You see, like cell shading, people. Come on. Just I don't know if I've mentioned that I like cell shading before on this podcast.
You've did it twice this podcast.
It's sarcasm, Tanner.
I know.
Of course, I know I've mentioned that I like cell shading on this podcast. Good gracious. But yeah, Ni no Kuni 2 looks good. The gameplay was always weird, It's like a little bit of Pokemon, but in real time, and this is gonna. It's weird. I don't like the character designs. I love the cell shading, obviously, but I've not liked the art style of Ni no Kuni. It's always been a little too simple for my tastes.
I mean, I guess I get what you're coming for, but I'm a sucker for that Ghibli style.
Oh yeah. I fully understand that I'm in the minority here.
But I totally agree with you. Where some people would be like, "Yeah, this seems a little too simple for."
Yeah.
I wouldn't say it looks like a solid. It's not like I wouldn't be like, "Oh, this is like a Ghibli classic," which it isn't. It's just it's the art style is meant to be reminiscent of a product. Yeah,
I'm pretty sure the character designer from Studio Ghibli actually worked on this game. I know there's some ties to Studio Ghibli there, but yeah, I'm glad to see because I was worried at the start of this generation that Sony was going to end up like Microsoft last generation. But games like Ni no Kuni are the reason why I bought a PS4 and why I bought a PS3. So I'm glad to see that they rewarded my fate and we are definitely getting a new Ni no Kuni. We're getting a new have we spoken about this yet? No, we skipped over it. Shit. We're getting a new Wipeout. Yeah, there we go. All these games, these types of games are the reason why I bought a PS4. So I'm glad to see. I'm glad to see it. We're getting a new Ace Combat, although I've never been a fan of Ace Combat.
Well, I've never played Ace Combat. I've heard about it, but I've never played it, so I wouldn't know.
Yeah. One other game that we're getting a new version of is Knack. Although I don't know if you remember, but during one of our earlier podcasts, when we were still the Electric Joystick podcast, and we hadn't kicked Kevin to the curb yet, we were talking about Knack, and I was talking about how it looks like shit. And Kevin was really excited about the game. Unfortunately, the game did not live up to his expectations. It definitely lived down to mine. Good God. But Knack 2 is a surprise. I didn't think we'd ever see.
This was unexpected for sure.
What?
This was unexpected. I will.
Yeah. I thought Knack was going to be one of those games. Those launch games, they come out and they They, like giant robot crabs. Sorry, giant enemy crabs. Every cameo. I thought it was gonna end up like one of those launch games I would just never see again. Although, I love me some cameo, man. Fucking Microsoft. But yeah, the game still looks kind of if. There's co-op now, so
when I was watching this and I compared it to like the other trailers for Knack, like the first one, I think this one looks better. Like it does.
Well, in the immortal words of Captain Price, it's not hard to improve on garbage.
But that's kind of the point, is that like it looks better, but that doesn't necessarily mean it's gonna be like a slam dunk. I don't think it's gonna. I think this is gonna probably be like still a 7. Like this is gonna be.
I think it's gonna be less than a 7.
It's probably. I think it's gonna. Well, it depends. If the one thing that always bothered me about Knack is that this seems like a really kid friendly game. Like why not have like cooperative parts to it, at least for the first one. And I'm like, okay, this is something. Because it's like Knack was never a game that fit my demographic at all.
Yeah.
So I was like indifferent to it, but I still thought it looked like poor to mediocre. And a lot of people agreed with me on that. So it's like, I have to admit, it is kind of surprising that they're like, no, we're not done with this. This is going to be an IP whether you like it or not.
Yeah.
Shit. I wanted to say something about Ni no Kuni, but I'll come back to it afterwards. Just once we're done talking about Knack. But,
no, just say it now. I'm done talking about.
Okay, we're done talking about Knack then. But yeah, it's I mean, it exists. I hope it's gonna be better. Maybe it'll be a surprise and it'll come out good, but not really holding my breath for it. One thing I was gonna say about Ni no Kuni before we head off to our last part to talk about. I fucking can't believe the name of the kingdom in Ni no Kuni. Do you know the name of the kingdom? There was a part in this trailer in which this weasel guy goes, "Kneel before the king of Ding Dong Dale."
No. I watched the trailer on mute. No, he actually said that?
He did. He totally. I had to watch it because I couldn't believe he said that to the first.
It's actually called Ding Dong Dale.
He said Ding Dong Dale, and I watched it 3 times, and I couldn't think of any other thing that he was saying.
Wow, that is impressive.
Gotta love those naming conventions, man.
Gotta love those naming conventions.
You gotta keep it going. That's the best. Because he's saying it so deathly serious.
Ding Dong Dale. Okay.
Oh, that's okay. I wanted to make sure that everyone knew about that. But now let's talk about our last piece of news, the finale of the PlayStation experience. So, Last of Us Part 2. Oh my god. Yeah, there's not much to say because I was kind of shocked when I saw this. It's like I heard the rumors of Last of Us 2 being in the works, right? We talked about it, so, but honestly, I didn't even believe it at the time. I thought Nolan North was kind of talking out of his ass, but I really didn't think it was gonna come out because they had been so quiet about it, and Neil Druckmann, who's the director of Last of Us, basically at this point.
Yeah.
He was like, we're probably never going to be a sequel. Probably never going to be a sequel to Last of Us. If we did, we'd have to have a really good continuation point with Joel and Ellie to make Last of Us Part 2, 2 at the time. So I was like, all right, we're probably never going to see Last of Us 2. So when you see the Firefly, and when I saw that guitar, I was just like, oh, this is great. This is just fantastic because it's such a character moment. Because for those who didn't play Last of Us, there is a part that you never get to see in which they're like, I want to see you sing, Joel. I want to see you play the guitar, because he says that he can do that at some point in the game, right? So you get to see that time has passed and he has clearly taught her how to play the guitar. It's like, oh, that's a great little thing in this trailer.
I feel it, yeah.
And like there's some stuff where I really like the very subtle, I'm going to just fuck it. It's an old game. I like the very subtle part in which at her feet where she's sitting down, she's looking pissed, right?
Yeah.
There is a machete on the ground next to a body. And for those who played Last of Us, there is a part in Last of Us near the end where she has a machete and dark shit happens. So that is a pretty nice little, like, you know, like little I don't know what to call it, but like
Callback?
Yeah, callback basically. Yeah. So I really like that, and I love watching trailers with crowd reactions.
Yeah.
Because it just gets you more hype, because it's like you hear someone go, like, it's just a shot of the woods and you hear one guy go, Last of Us, Last of Us, Last of Us. And then you see the firefly symbol on the stop sign and everyone loses it. And it's just, and I loved how when Joel, like when you see the silhouette of a man walking into the room to see Ellie, they didn't even have to see Joel's face. All they had to see was the beard, like half the beard, and they just knew it was Joel. And it was the best. It was so much fun to watch with that crowd.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree with you. Now the one thing that Tanner's gonna be like, oh, for the love of God, for us.
I know.
No,
what
I
you're
love
gonna
The
say.
Last of Us.
Yeah.
Tanner lends me his copy, and I loved the game. I didn't think I would, because at the time, you know, Naughty Dog had been making Uncharted games, and you know, I've already established how I feel about those games. So when they made another third-person shooter, I was like, oh great, another cover-based third-person shooter. Thank you so much. This is exactly what I need. But no, I absolutely loved the game. I loved the story, and I loved the gameplay, which is rare. However, I thought it ended really well.
Yeah, I think that is the elephant in the room when it comes to this.
Yeah, I thought the ending was really good. I thought it ended very well. And I was hoping and hoping and hoping that if they ever did make a sequel, it would have been like a spin-off with completely different characters, because I really, really didn't. I thought that, you know, like Joel and Ellie's story ended just very well, you know. So I can't lie. I'm gonna buy the game anyway, because like I said, I enjoyed
Last of Us. Yeah, it's a good game.
Yeah, I enjoyed the first game, so yeah, I'll buy the second one. But I gonna be very cautiously optimistic, because I worry that the game has already peaked.
Yeah, I totally know what you're saying. Where, like, from a narrative and story perspective, like, the thing that this is another thing that I'm still excited for, but I totally get what you're saying. And this is something that I got to experience with the Walking Dead games with Clementine, is that I really like seeing games where you get to see a character grow throughout multiple games. You know, I really like that. And it's very clear that Ellie is not the same person from Last of Us 1. She seems different. It seems something has changed in her.
Yeah, it's called puberty, Tanner.
Sorry?
I said it's called puberty,
well,
Tanner.
Okay. Oh, sorry, I didn't notice that. But
No. They said that the theme of the game is going to be hate, and she definitely looks very angry.
Oh, I didn't hear that. That's well, okay, just for speculation stuff. I think it's very clear, as far as from story perspective, that Ellie, they left the ending of Last of Us 1 ambiguous, where it's like you never know if Ellie, if Joel was gonna tell Ellie about the Fireflies, what actually happened with the Fireflies. Yeah. At the very end, it was left ambiguous, and I was okay with that. Like I thought it was actually, as far as ambiguous endings go, it's actually one of the more stronger ones. You know.
Yeah.
The fact that was still kind of a mystery. But in this trailer, this is like, okay, what if Joel told Ellie, What if Joel told Ellie what actually happened with the Fireflies? How would that change her perspective on everything? Also considering the fact that they were just going to they were flat out going to kill her at the end.
Yeah.
And it also changes a lot of perspectives on things, and I'm really curious what direction that's gonna go, because the way Joel thinks about Ellie as far as like a daughter like figure, like there's that parallel, Joel thinks of Ellie as like a daughter, right?
Yeah.
So I'm really interested to see that in the trailer you can see that she's going down a very dark path, but Joel is still supportive of her, which I find really interesting, and I'm very curious how they're going to flesh that out in the game. Honestly, I'm just excited because there's actually a lot of stuff in Last of Us, like gameplay wise, that I enjoyed, but I was like, I wish there was some more stuff, like I wish like there was some more other mechanics in the game they could just add on to it, like I wish there was more enemy types, and stuff like that, like, or more weapons, or like weapons that worked differently mechanically. Like I still think the game's great, but I wish that there was a little bit more. So this makes me excited for the sequel because they can introduce new stuff in that regard.
Yeah, no, I am, like I said, I really, really enjoyed the gameplay, so that's one of the reasons why I'm probably that's one of the reasons why I'm still a little excited for it. But no, I completely completely lost my train of thought there. But yeah. I'm looking forward to seeing how they expand on the gameplay. I loved the fact that it felt like a survival horror.
Yeah.
It's it was marketed like a third-person shooter. At least that was what I got from them. Well, I mean, they focus a lot on the story and the marketing. I'll give them that. But I got the impression anyway that it was being marketed like a third-person shooter, but it ended up feeling more like a survival horror.
Yeah, no, I know what you're getting at. I will admit, like, it didn't really flat out say it, but I remember watching one of the reveal trailers. I forget, it was at one of the E3s, I think, and I remember watching it and going, like, he's only got, like, 3 bullets.
Yeah, I love that element of it.
This is not really an action. This is not going to be an Uncharted where you have, like, 1,000 bullets and you're just shooting off the hip like a madman. So but I do totally agree with you that it was like, people only really understood that this was like a legit survival game when they got their hands on it,
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, but overall I'm still excited, but yeah, I do agree. There is a lot of ways that they could screw up this story, and I really hope that doesn't happen. Although I don't really feel like Naughty Dog has a really bad track record for that, so I'm still pretty pumped. But yeah, I'm nervous. I am still a little nervous about that aspect of this game, but I'm excited for a lot of it.
Although law of averages says that they're gonna have to mess up at some point. So if they haven't messed up,
please mess up on Uncharted 5.
It means that with each coming game, it becomes more and more likely that they're going to mess up. Figured I'd throw that out there because like you look at Pixar, and Pixar had a flawless record until what was it?
Yeah, I would say it was Cars.
Oh yes, Cars. So well, let's see if this. Some people might say Uncharted 3 was their Cars.
I don't think I wouldn't consider. Like I get that comparison, but dude, Cars is such a downgrade in quality to what you're used to. It's
Yeah,
That
yeah.
makes me mad.
But yeah, overall, amazing press conference by Sony. They really,
Yeah.
really, really made up for last year's terrible press conference.
Yeah.
In fact, I would say they went a little overboard. I like honestly feel like they were like, okay, you guys want news? You guys want news? You want news? Take all the
Take all
news.
the news. All the news.
Seriously, like it was one thing after another, after another, after another. When I thought that, oh, this is okay, so this is the megaton. It's like, nope, there's another megaton, and another one, and another one, and yeah, they went absolutely ham, and this was in like an hour too. They lost their goddamn minds, but props to them, props to them. Now, yeah, yeah,
Yeah, overall, but yeah, good PlayStation experience. You
good
know that
PlayStation
like
experience.
we've almost hit our 100th podcast. We've almost hit our 100th podcast, and it's turned around, hasn't it? In some ways, the PlayStation experience was what started the podcast because of how shitty it was when we started.
And here we are.
And here we
Here
are.
we are, years later, praising it.
Yeah, man.
How it is.
What a time to be alive.
For them to be alive. So yeah, just real quick to wrap up. The wonderful J Street sent us a quick question of the day, and he asks, "Who's your favorite video game anti-hero?"
This is a good one. This is a good one. I need some inspiration. Do you have an answer? Because I need inspiration.
Okay, yeah, my answer, I'm not sure if he counts as an anti-hero anymore, but I'm pretty sure at one point he was an anti-hero. It's Kazuya. I loved Kazuya. I remember I loved Kazuya growing up, and I refused to believe the bad things, because Kazuya is a terrible character. Like, he's done so many bad things. He's killed so many characters. He's a terrible person. But I really liked him, and I don't know why. And like, part of it was because, Heihachi, with a father like Heihachi, there's not too many ways that a boy could turn out. But yeah, I'm definitely gonna pick Kazuya. I really like the character. He kind of got worse when they brought him back. I definitely think he should have stayed dead. But Tekken 4, he's been a little ridiculous ever since. But in Tekken 1 and Tekken 2, his story was very, very, very good. I can't think of a better word, for lack of a better word. Like the revenge story. His father, tries to kill him when he's a child. He comes back, but then he develops, as much of an asshole and a monster he was, he still has a soft spot for June. And there's the whole, he made a deal with the devil, and there was the whole dichotomy where, June was kind of angelic, and I just really liked Kazuya. I felt like he was a very complex character who's kind of gone to shit ever since Tekken 4. But yeah, that's my answer. Kazuya Mishima.
Yeah. Cool. Yeah, it's weird. I'm really drawing a blank. I don't really have a good answer. I really don't. I'm just going to make a cop out, and yeah, I really like Joel.
Oh my.
I don't know. I'm trying to think of any anti-heroes because, like, I can't think. Well, like, I know Punisher has been in a bunch of games, and he's an anti-hero. But, and I love the Punisher. Don't get me wrong. I love the Punisher. I love how ridiculous the Punisher gets.
That doesn't count.
What does he mean that doesn't count? Punisher totally counts. I'm drawing.
No, he's a comic book character.
Well, he's been in a video game. That counts. But specifically video game character. Okay, yeah, I guess that doesn't count. I don't know. I honestly, I can't think of any, because, like, the reason why I think of Joel in particular from Last of Us, right, is because Joel has a couple moments where I'm just like, whoa. And I always think of the moment where he's got that one guy tied to the chair, and he stabs him in the knee and starts twisting the knife. and it's like, this is our hero, I think. So like, yeah, I mean, like, I would say Joel, just as like, just for now, because like that's just what it's coming to mind, because I don't know, like, literally I'm thinking about like the last games, most of the games that I play, and I can't think of many in which I'm playing an anti-hero, or like there is an anti-hero in the story that stands out, you know?
Yeah, I feel you.
Yeah. But I don't know. Like there's stuff with Joel though. I think that is pretty good. But I don't know. I want to say Punisher though, and I know that doesn't count. But it's like, I don't know. Maybe I just have a soft spot for the Punisher. But anyway, overall, good podcast, good stuff. So I hope you've enjoyed this very packed podcast. And if you got any ideas for an anti-hero, because I'm drawing blanks, leave it in the comment section. If you got any questions, also leave it in the comment section. We'll make sure to answer in the next podcast. And as always, this was your host, Room Liberty, and
Fawaz Muhammad Yusuf.
And we'll see you guys next time. Thank you.